A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha Television, your one-stop morning show for the biggest news stories from India and across the globe. My name is Aishwarya and here are the headlines. Slew of development projects to be launched as Prime Minister Modi visits Madhya Pradesh today. Mohanpura irrigation project benefiting 727 villages in state to be inaugurated. Economical urban transport bus service Sutra Seva in 20 cities to be dedicated to the people. Plastic ban in force in Maharashtra from today. Ban on manufacturing, use, sale, distribution and storage. Jail term for third violation. State Environment Minister warns manufacturers. Assures the small traders and common people they won't be harassed. Students won't have to travel outside their home state to appear for national eligibility cum entrance test from next year, assures Centre. HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar says more examination centres will be set up to facilitate students. Neymar and Coutinho ensure five-time champions Brazil beat Costa Rica 2-0 on day 9 of the FIFA World Cup. Switzerland beat Serbia 2-1 to take a big step towards the last 16. Nigeria boosts chances of qualifying for knockout stage, beating Iceland 2-0. And India to begin their campaign against arch rivals Pakistan in the Six Nation Champions Trophy hockey tournament in Netherlands. In the Kabaddi Masters in Dubai, India outplayed Pakistan in the inaugural match. Our top story this morning is from Madhya Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate a slew of development projects during his day-long visit to Madhya Pradesh today. Prime Minister Modi will dedicate the Mohanpura irrigation project worth 3,866 crore rupees in Rajgarh district to the people of the state. Now, this project includes a dam and a canal system that would benefit 727 villages. Thereafter, Prime Minister Modi will head to Indore to dedicate development works worth 4,713 crore rupees at a program. He will also felicitate the winners of a cleanliness survey, Swachh Sarvekshan 2018. And in Indore, the Prime Minister will also inaugurate the state government's urban transport scheme named Sutra Seva. Now, this economical bus service is being introduced in 20 selected cities of the state. The Grih Pravesh or the housewarming ceremony of all the beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana will be performed simultaneously across the state. An earlier Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday called for targeting double-digit GDP growth for breaking into the $5 trillion economy club. Speaking after the laying the foundation stone of a Vanijya Bhavan in the national capital, he said that technology has facilitated business and that after the GDP, the number of indirect taxpayers has increased to over 1 crore.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday laid the foundation stone of Vanijya Bhavan, a new office complex of the Ministry of Commerce in the national capital. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that the country's economy is increasing rapidly in all areas. He added that in the last 4 years, FDI and foreign exchange reserves are at record levels, while the fiscal deficit situation has improved. Prime Minister Modi also called for targeting double-digit GDP growth for breaking into the $5 trillion economy club.
7%, 8% की विकास दर से आगे बढ़कर हमें डबल डिजिट की विकास दर प्राप्त करने के लक्ष्य पर काम करना समय की मांग है। दुनिया की नजरें आज भारत को इस दृष्टि से भी देख रही हैं कि भारत कितने वर्षों में $5 ट्रिलियन के क्लब में शामिल होता है।
Prime Minister Modi underscored the role of technology in bringing about the ease of doing business. He also said that 54 lakh new taxpayers have been registered under the GST, taking the number of indirect taxpayers to over 1 crore.
GST के बाद के 11 महीनों में ही अब तक 54 लाख से ज्यादा लोगों ने रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए आवेदन दिया है और इनमें से 47 लाख से ज्यादा रजिस्टर हो चुके हैं। इस तरह रजिस्टर्ड लोगों की संख्या अब 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा हो चुकी है।
Prime Minister Modi emphasized that India's share in world trade has to more than double to 3.4%. He also stressed on the need for reducing the import of crude oil. Commerce Minister Suresh Prabhu and Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri were also present on the occasion.
हम लोगों ने एक नीति बनाई थी कि किस तरह से आने वाले दिनों में $5 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था बने। हमारी मंत्रालय ने उसके बारे में पूरा नक्शा बनाया है। इसमें $1 ट्रिलियन हमारी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होगा, $3 ट्रिलियन सर्विसेज से होंगे, $1 ट्रिलियन के आसपास की हमारी योगदान हमारे कृषि क्षेत्र और उसके अलाइड सेक्टर का भी होगा।
ये जो शानदार ग्रीन और स्मार्ट बिल्डिंग एनबीसीसी यहाँ बनाएंगे, दिस विल बिकम ए ग्लोबल हब ऑफ ट्रेड प्रमोशन, ट्रेड पॉलिसी, जिसमें हमारे एक्सपोर्टर्स ही नहीं बट दुनिया में जो मल्टीलैटरल मीटिंग्स होती वहाँ हुआ करेंगी।
The new office complex of the Commerce Ministry is being constructed near India Gate at an estimated cost of 226 crore rupees on a plot of 4.33 acres. The Vanijya Bhavan will be a paperless office. Expected to be ready by December next year, the new facility boasts of modern facilities such as smart access control and video conferencing. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to the other top story, HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar has assured that students appearing for the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, that is the NEET test, from next year will not have to travel outside their state to appear for the test. The minister's assurance came following the controversy that surrounded NEET, in which many candidates from Tamil Nadu were allotted exam centres outside the state. The minister was at the IIT Madras to take part in an event to mark the conclusion of the grand finale of the first hardware hackathon edition of Smart India 2018. While responding to questions on complaints regarding allotted centres, he said that the authorities have already been instructed to accommodate NEET candidates within the districts. From next year, exam centre will be allotted for any district which has more than 4,000 candidates. Around 13,000 candidates from Tamil Nadu were allotted exam centres as far as Rajasthan in NEET 2018 exam, citing the surge in NEET applications. Many students faced difficulties in reaching the centres following the confusion over exam centres. Several candidates also did not appear for the exam. News from Maharashtra, where the state government has imposed a strict ban on the use and manufacturing of plastic items in the state as the policy takes effect from today. In a move to control pollution and check the damage caused to the environment, the Maharashtra government has issued a notification imposing a ban on the manufacturing, use, sale and distribution of all plastic materials in the state. Now, those caught using plastic will be imposed with a heavy penalty. The fine for the first and the second time offenders will be 5,000 and 10,000 rupees respectively, and a third time violation will attract a fine of 25,000 rupees and a jail term for 3 months. The State Environment Minister Ram Nath Kovind has said that common people and small traders will not be harassed, while strict action will be taken against plastic manufacturers. On to some other news, the Interpol is expected to issue a red corner notice against fugitive Nirav Modi as the international agency is satisfied with the documents provided by the CBI, which is probing the multi-crore PNB scam case. The records that the CBI provided to the Interpol included the non-bailable warrants issued by a Mumbai special court and the details of the charge sheet which have been filed in the case. The sources said that the process was at an advanced stage and an RCN could be issued by early next week unless some last-minute explanation was sought, the chances of which were negligible. The case pertains to cheating the Punjab National Bank through fraudulent issuance of a letter of understanding and the foreign letters of credit worth about 13,000 crore rupees by Nirav Modi and his uncle Mehul Choksi. Both are absconding since the first week of January. News from Jammu and Kashmir, where Governor N.N. Vohra convened an all-party meeting in Srinagar on Friday, and the meeting was called to discuss the situation in the wake of the implementation of a governor's rule in the state. Now, during the meeting, during the meeting, the National Conference and other parties, including Panthers Party, favoured an immediate dissolution of the State Assembly so as to make the atmosphere conducive for holding an early elections in the state. Besides, they also urged the governor to take some confidence-building measures and carry out a crackdown on corruption and cleaning the governance system. PDP representative Dilawar Mir favoured the continuation of the assembly and allowing the MPs to work, while Jammu and Kashmir Congress Committee President G. Amir also favoured fresh polls in the state. He, however, left the decision to the governor about the fate of assembly, which is currently in suspended animation. The BJP remained silent on the issue. The governor sought a cooperation of all the political parties in improving the situation in the state.
सबने एक ही राय में कि जम्मू कश्मीर में एक शांति का माहौल बने, इसकी तरफ अग्रसर हो। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से मुख्यतः रूप से आने वाली आगामी जो अमरनाथ की यात्रा है उस विषय को लेकर के एक अच्छी यात्रा निकले। इसके साथ साथ पंचायतों के रोल में जिस तरीके से नीचे रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स जो हैं वो चुनकर आएंगे, नीचे स्तर पर जब राजनीति जाती है तो इसका एक अपना ही रोल रहता है। इसके साथ साथ लोकल बॉडीज़ के चुनावों को लेकर, जिसके कारण लगभग 10,000 करोड़ रुपये का हम लोग चाहते हैं। पार्टी का शुरू से स्टैंड था कि ये दोनों चुनाव जो हैं, और माननीय नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी भी चाहते हैं कि इस विषय में जो है चुनाव होने चाहिए, समय पे होने चाहिए थे।
More news from Jammu and Kashmir. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti met with Governor N.N. Vora on Friday and discussed issues related to the growth and development of the state. Mehbooba referred to certain important issues relating to the growth and development of the state, which could not be finalized during her tenure, and urged the governor to consider the same for early decisions. The governor discussed with the former chief minister the need for all political parties and social organizations to join hands to regain the trust of the youth and restore normalcy in Kashmir. This was the first meeting between the two since Mehbooba Mufti resigned as the chief minister on Tuesday after the BJP decided to pull out of its alliance with the PDP. And after his party's decision to withdraw support from the PDP-led government in Jammu and Kashmir, BJP President Amit Shah is scheduled to address a rally in Jammu today. Shah will be on a day-long trip to the city to mark the martyrdom anniversary of party founder President Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Shah will also hold meetings with the digital media and social media volunteers and also participate in other organizational events. He will also review the party's preparations for the Lok Sabha elections that are due next year. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be back with more news.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. Addressing the concluding session of the two-day National Consultation on Agriculture at Vaikunth Mehta National Cooperative Institute of Management in Pune on Friday, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that a multi-pronged strategy is needed to make agriculture viable and to ensure that the interests of the farmers are protected. He added that making agriculture sustainable and profitable should top the agenda of both the centre and the state governments, as food security is the key foundation of national security.
This agriculture has become vulnerable. One is vagaries of monsoon. Second is market fluctuations. Third is exploitation by the middleman. And then you have pest menace. You have now the WTO. You have so many challenges on the agriculture front. So these issues need to be carefully analyzed and addressed.
And earlier in the day, Vice President also visited the Krishi Vigyan Kendra in Maharashtra's Baramati and said that centers like the Krishi Vigyan Kendras must act as a bridge between the scientists and farmers in providing knowledge and latest farming techniques. He also emphasized on establishing a regular dialogue between farmers, policymakers and scientists. The Vice President asked the Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country to play an active role in making agriculture remunerative by training farmers in allied sectors like sericulture, dairy, poultry, fisheries and seed processing.
So far, I have already visited 32 universities in the short span of 10 months. And I have been going around different states, attending various social, cultural, educational programs. And I am trying to convey to the younger generation about the national interest, preserving our culture, our heritage, and to become a good social human being. This is what I am trying to do.
And on to some other news. Seychelles President Danny Faure arrived in Ahmedabad on Friday evening, beginning his 6-day India visit. Well, the visit comes close on the heels of his government's announcement earlier this month that a joint project with India to develop a naval base at Assumption Island would not move forward. Faure is slated to visit the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad and the Sabarmati Ashram. Faure would also visit the Gujarat Forensic Science University in Gandhinagar. Apart from interacting with the university officials, Faure would meet 18 police officials from the Seychelles who were undergoing training there. He will be in Delhi on the 25th of June and he will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And President Ram Nath Kovind has concluded his 3-nation visit to Greece, Suriname and Cuba. On Friday, on the last leg of his visit to Cuba, President Ram Nath Kovind held delegation-level talks with his Cuban counterpart Miguel Diaz-Canel. President Kovind tweeted that both the countries agreed to enhance cooperation in biotechnology, renewable energy and traditional medicine. He added that Cuba also reiterated the support for India's candidature for a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. After the talks, India and Cuba signed 2 MOUs to increase cooperation in traditional medicine and homeopathy and another one to deepen collaboration on biotechnology.
This was also the highest level visit from India at the level of our president, both to Suriname and to Cuba. Therefore, it was historic in its nature. With Cuba, of course, we have very strong, cordial, friendly relations. We are both founding members of the non-aligned movement. Both have stood for South-South solidarity. We have collaborated very closely in the United Nations, in the WTO and other forums.
The President also addressed the students of Havana University before leaving for New Delhi. He said that mutual respect and solidarity among developing countries form the core of the South-South cooperation. And earlier in the afternoon, President Ram Nath Kovind also paid his respects to Cuban national hero Jose Marti at the Jose Memorial at Revolution Square in Havana. President Kovind also visited the Center for Genetic Biotechnology and also attended a presentation on Cuban pharma industry. Prior to Cuba, President Ram Nath Kovind has visited Greece and Suriname. MEA said that the time of Kovind's visit to Suriname was celebrating 145th anniversary of the arrivals of Indians in that country.
Major focus of discussions was on collaboration in traditional systems of medicine. In addition to that, other areas of cooperation with Suriname lie in the field of development of natural resources. Suriname is rich in bauxite, rich in gold, timber and oil and natural gas, where we see immense potential for collaboration. In addition to that, during discussions, the President of Suriname sought India's assistance in the development of the agriculture sector.
And reminding the developed world of its commitments to developing countries, Sushma Swaraj said that developing countries need the support to combat climate change. Speaking at the European Union high-level event on climate change in Brussels yesterday, Sushma Swaraj said that the capacity of developing countries to translate their potential commitments into tangible initiatives is constrained by a lack of sustained and adequate financing and technologies. She said that India would reduce the emission intensity of our GDP by 25% over 2005 levels by 2020. And India is also committed to further reduce it by 33 to 35% over the 2005 levels by 2030.
Climate change poses significant development challenges, especially for developing countries. It can pose a threat to the food and water availability in developing countries, on their multi-nutritional needs, livelihoods, health and well-being, and energy security. The response to these challenges must therefore be in terms of solutions that factor in developmental requirements. Global partnerships and collective actions with a genuine will to pursue sustainable lifestyles remain critical for this purpose. There is no doubt that all countries are working towards fulfilling their commitments under these multilateral frameworks. However, we must bear in mind that the capacity of developing countries to translate their political commitments into tangible initiatives and projects gets constrained by lack of predictable, sustained and adequate finances and technologies.
External Affairs Minister is in Brussels on the last leg of our European nation tour to meet the senior officials of the EU. Swaraj on Friday met a European Union High Representative Federica Mogherini. Sushma Swaraj also held a delegation-level talks with the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister of Belgium. The MEA said that both leaders undertook a comprehensive review of our bilateral relationship and exchanged views on regional and multilateral issues. Earlier, Sushma Swaraj also visited a photo exhibition in Brussels along with Federica Mogherini. And funded by India, Mongolia on Friday launched the construction of its first oil refinery. The groundbreaking ceremony was attended by Home Minister Rajnath Singh and the Mongolian Prime Minister. India has loaned $1 billion to Mongolia for the project, which is designed to end the country's dependence on Russian fuel. Home Minister Rajnath Singh described the launch as an important milestone in bilateral ties and expressed confidence with the start of this refinery, Mongolia would derive rich benefits. Rajnath Singh is on a 3-day visit to Mongolia to further strengthen India's relation with the country and also security cooperation. Our top international focus, US President Donald Trump has threatened to impose a 20% tariffs on all the cars imported from Europe. Donald Trump's warning comes after the European Union imposed heavy tariffs on various US manufactured products yesterday morning in a retaliatory move against the US President's decision to slap hefty tariffs on European steel and aluminium exports. In a tweet, Donald Trump said that if the heavy tariffs and barriers are not going to be broken down soon and removed by the European Union, a strong 20% of tariff will be placed on all of their cars coming into the United States. Donald Trump had initially imposed a high 25% tariffs on European steel and 10% on the aluminium on 1st of June, sparking off a trade war between both the global powers. And now all the action from the Football World Cup in Russia. Well, here are the results from Friday's fixtures at the Football World Cup. While Coutinho and Neymar came to the rescue for Brazil as both struck in the injury time to help the 5-time champions beat Costa Rica in their Group E match. The first half of the game was goalless as both the sides were unable to convert their chances, but the Brazilian side attacked relentlessly in the second half and was awarded with a penalty in the 78th minute. It looked like Brazil, after drawing its opening game with Switzerland, was heading for another stalemate. But then Coutinho's goal in the first minute of the injury time and Neymar's volley in the 97th minute sealed the victory for Brazil. And with this win, Brazil has now 4 points and will face Serbia in its final group game, while Costa Rica are eliminated from the competition. In the second game, Switzerland took a huge step towards the last 16 of the World Cup as Sheridan Shaqiri scored a brilliant solo 90th minute winner against Serbia. The side beat Serbia 2-1. Now, Switzerland are now level with Brazil on 4 points at the top of Group E. In the second place due to an inferior goal difference. They will qualify for the last 16 with a draw against Costa Rica, who have already been eliminated in their final game. If Switzerland win, Serbia must beat Brazil in their final game to progress. And in the third match on Friday, Nigeria bounced back from their opening game defeat and boosted their chances of qualifying for the knockout stage of the World Cup, as well as Argentina's with a 2-0 win over Iceland. Two delightful goals from Ahmed Musa secured Nigeria a first victory in the tournament and also diminished Iceland's chances of making it to the last 16. The team is now second in Group D, and their concluding group match against two-time champions Argentina will be billed as a winner takes all tie. And on day 10 of the FIFA World Cup today, here are the matches that are slated to be played. Belgium take on Tunisia in the Group G match in Moscow at 5:30 p.m. South Korea will play Mexico in the Group F fixture, and Germany and Sweden will clash in the Group F match in Sochi at 11:30 p.m. All right, we have with us Jyoti Buret, former national football player, joining us in the studio this morning. A very good morning, Ms. Buret. As always, you know, we speak about the most exciting match first, and Brazil beating Costa Rica 2-0 to ease their route towards the knockout stage, and both the goals scored in the injury time.
Not expected from Brazil because we expect so much from this team, but a win is a win, and they scored late. Neymar still not looking his best, and of course VAR coming into great play in this match with them, you know, first being given a penalty and then VAR proving that it was not penalty. So huge things happen in this game, but Brazil will be happy with that win.
Absolutely, and Switzerland versus Serbia for the second time in two World Cup matches. Again, Switzerland starting slow and then fighting back in the second half.
Yeah, I think that early goal from Serbia really put them on the back foot. They were slow out of the starting blocks, but in the second half, they really picked up after that sublime goal by the Arsenal man Xhaka. But the last-minute goal, it was a thrilling match.
Absolutely, and Nigeria versus Iceland, this game again, Musa delivering for Africans, as Argentina also gets a lifeline with this match.
Yes, with Nigeria winning yesterday, they do get a lifeline. All depends on the last group games for this group, but Nigeria looked strong yesterday, and I think Musa was phenomenal. Also, the change in tactics to a 3-5-2 really helped Nigeria.
And speaking about today's matches, of course, Belgium, Tunisia, and you know, coming off a convincing really 3-0 win over Panama in the opening match. Now, Belgium will look to secure their place in the knockout stages today.
They will be expecting them to win, but I'm sure Sweden is going to want to hold their key men very tight. So De Bruyne, Hazard and Mertens are going to be heavily marked. You know, Sweden have nothing to lose. They're going to go for this, but Belgium are expected to come out winners.
Absolutely, and there are two more matches, South Korea match as well, and of course Germany match as well coming up, and we have to see if they come back to their winning ways, because it is Germany. So we hope that Germany makes a comeback today after what we saw in the shocking loss in the earlier match. Thank you so much for all those insights on that big story. Thank you so much. And for in-depth analysis of all the day's matches with our experts in our studio, watch our special daily show on the FIFA World Cup every day at 5 p.m. And let's not forget hockey, because India defeated arch rival Pakistan 36-20 in the inaugural match of the Kabaddi Masters Championship in Dubai last evening. Skipper Ajit Thakur scored 15 rate points, and the Indian team dominated the court, and the players gave a superb all-round performance. Rajya Singh Rathore and Navdeep Suri also witnessed the match. And today, India begin their champions hockey tournament campaign with a clash with arch rivals Pakistan. Well, world's best 6 teams compete in the Champions Trophy, and this year's lineup include Olympic champions Argentina, world number 1 Australia, Belgium, hosts Netherlands, Pakistan, besides India, of course. And this edition is the last edition of the prestigious event. And with that, we come to an end of this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.